Transformers is the best thing ever, and a part of that started back with these guys, the Constructicons. The Constructicons are a group of usually 6 lime green and purple construction vehicles that combine into a nigh unstoppable monster called Devastator that can only be beaten for plot convenience when he's in a comic or when his toys no longer on shelves. Along with these guys today, we'll look at the Insecticons, both the original show's triplet and the deluxe larger ones from the toy line. Let's get started. The Constructicons are composed of Scrapper, the leader, Hook, Longhaul, Scavenger, Bonecrusher, and Mixmaster. Scrapper is a generic brand front-end loader, and this is where I feel the need to say that for this one, none of the actual toys have any specifics. So, for both groups, I decided, to be fair, to use the largest versions of the depicted alt modes I could find. Although there could be large ones that I couldn't find, I don't know. The reason I decided this is because the Constructicons are usually portrayed as being really frickin' big. Mostly because Devastator is really frickin' big, and the Insecticons really need all the help they can get. Chosen for Scrapper is the Letter New L235 wheel loader, a 20,300mm long loader of epic proportions. With a size like that, you kind of understand what we're going into with this video. Scrapper's transformation removes the bucket and adds a third of the overall length to his height. So, you know, Scrapper is, in short, a titanic 26 meters or around 85 feet. Christ, he's huge! But he's not the biggest. Hook is a mobile crane with 6 wheels, and that 6 wheels was kind of a crutch, because finding the biggest one of those wasn't the easiest. The largest one I could find, with any fucking specs on it at least, was the Polefinger Sani Truck Crane STC-250, at 12,750mm long and 3,550mm tall. This hefty motherfucker just adds half of the height, with the front half doubling to form legs, and the rest just standing up. This puts him at an impressive 19.125 meters or 62.7 feet. Neat. Longhaul turns into a giant ass mining dump truck. And if there was anyone I expected to be frickin' massive, it was this guy. And well, the Blaz 75710, I don't know if that's how you say it, but alright, is 20.6 meters long and 8.16 meters high. And you know, he mostly doubles in length and then adds the rest of the height of the vehicle to it. Do you want to know how big this guy is? You really want to know how tall this guy is? You can kind of do the math from there, but Longhaul is a crazy 44.36 meters or 145 feet tall. He's over half as tall as Gypsy Danger and almost twice as tall as his leader. If anyone makes fun of combining with Longhaul being big anymore, I'm gonna frickin' slap them. Doesn't make for a good ass though. Moving along to Scavenger, he turns into an excavator. In this case, the Terex RH400 Power Shovel, which only now do I realize is the vehicle of the Tyrant Universal Cluster Scavenger and Demolishing Vehicle modes. Fun fact, Terex sold its mining products line to Bucurus International in 2010. So technically this is the Bucurus RH400. I don't know. Anyway, Scavenger takes off the entire shovel part and adds more length. Twice does he add more length. At this point I realize I forgot to tell you how big it is, but the numbers are probably on the screen. This transformation puts him at 21.9 meters or 71.8 feet. After these two, that doesn't seem too big, but he still towers over Optimus. Bonecrusher now, the Bulldozer. The good old Komatsu D575A. 11.71 meters long and 4.88 meters tall. Bonecrusher transformation is one big fucking cheat. It's the height without the canopy plus the length times 2. Because of that stupid ass tread shit the original cartoon did. This makes Bonecrusher 23.35 meters or 76.6 feet tall, and he definitely would not be able to stand with treads for legs. Finally, Mixmaster, the cement truck. He is a Hanson cement truck, 8.7 meters long and 3.75 meters tall. This guy adds a length of 1/3 of the truck, then adds 2 times the height of each cab, and then adds length overall. He's big, but the smallest of the group, at only 15.7 meters or 51.5 feet. Overall, this is a pretty big squad. In fact, most of them tower over everyone else we've seen before. But what about how big they are when combined as a Devastator?
Constructicons! Morphing time! Front end loader!
Bulldozer, Power Shovel,
Cement mixer!
Crane,
Dump truck! I need Devastator power! Now!
Well, let's start with the legs and get to this beast. It's kind of less like determining the height of a transformer and more like building a building. Scrapper just removes the bucket's length and then becomes a leg, standing at 13.28 meters or 43.5 feet. Mixmaster adds the length of the cab's height to 12.2 meters or 40 feet. He's a bit shorter than Scrapper, but let's just say, I don't know, something flicks down and adds that extra little bit of height. Long haul remains fucking massive, with a basic length plus height formula that any car robot would be proud of. That puts him at 28.76 meters or 94.4 feet. That is actually shorter than he is normally. But that is another big ass. And that's good because Hook kinda just doubles his width and barely adds any height. Even then, he's only 5 meters wide and he only adds 3.55 meters to the height. That's only 11.64 feet. Scavenger then does nothing, but the arm attachment is about twice as length as other shovels. Let's put him armored at around 21.96 meters or 72.05 feet. And Bone Crusher does about the same to 21.42 meters or 70.28 feet. This would technically mean that Devastator's arms are half as big as he is, which I guess makes sense. So Devastator is fucked up, and probably something more like this in proportion. However, if we just take the tallest heights and slim the rest down and up to proportion that Devastator's maximum, make him look normal, his tallest height would be a whopping 45.59 meters or 149.57 feet. That's actually slightly taller than Longhaul's ridiculous length doubling and way above anyone other than that dump truck. He's crazy. And the best way to balance those 7 gargantuans is to look at 7 tiny little munchkins. The Insecticons are Shrapnel, Bombshell, Kickback, Barrage, Chop Shop, Venom, and Ransack. Shrapnel and Chop Shop first. They both turn into stag beetles, and the largest of their type is a giraffe stag beetle, a 119mm long bug that looks fucking awesome. Shrapnel doesn't do anything at all other than flip out an extra half the body of height. That only puts him at about 178.5mm or 7 inches. Chop Shop, meanwhile, does the exact same thing, except he detracts about 10mm of stag horns, reducing him to 168.55mm or 6.6 inches. Way to go. Bombshell and Barrage become Japanese rhinoceros beetles. While real-life rhinoceros beetles can be huge, like the Hercules beetle in particular, in this world, they're only Japanese rhino beetles. They're not even taking the form of the biggest beetle. I can't even use the biggest beetle. But, the Japanese ones only really get to about 80mm long. It's not too big, even though, if they just went with the Hercules beetle, they'd actually be taller than Chop Shop's entire robot mode. So Bombshell has about the same kind of transformation as Shrapnel. He just adds a good 40mm and it's around 120mm or 4.7 inches. Barrage is even better as he triples in length and takes off the entire head, putting him at around 180mm 7.1 inches. So he's quite a bit bigger than Bombshell. Next up, the guys stopped doing their whole sharing insect modes thing like a bunch of fucking teenagers. Kickback. He's a fucking grasshopper. Now, the biggest grasshopper recorded has been verified, I'm pretty sure it was about 5 inches. Now, for Kickback transformation, he just turns his fucking head around. Does that count as trans? He just flicks his goddamn head around. Sure, the legs go in a little bit, that doesn't change the whole, he just flips his head around. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna say he's 5 inches or 127mm tall, barely anything happens with him. Venom is a symbiotic alien species. Not inherently evil, but I think I've fucked up. Yeah, so Venom was actually a character in Marvel, and Transformers was also in Marvel at one point, so I guess that whole thing is fair. Spider-Man was even in fucking Marvel, and then the Transformers, he was there. Anyway, Venom's a cicada. A fucking cicada. Like, Cicadacon cicada. A cicada, but unlike Cicadacon, it doesn't even turn into something cool. Now, the largest of the cicadas is the Emperor cicada, that's 7 centimeters or 2.8 inches. Venom just adds half the length to him and becomes 10.5 centimeters or 4.13 inches. So what do you do? Ransack becomes a locust, the most annoying insect I've ever come across short of a mosquito. Now, surprisingly, finding the sizes of locusts is basically impossible, because what comes up is the size of locust swarms. So I just went with an Australian plague locust, 45mm long, that guy, because I'm Australian and I could actually find a height, or a length, I guess. If any of you know of a bigger locust, tell me, because I'm not too happy with this. Ransack's transformation just has him standing up, so he remains 4.5 centimeters tall and 1.77 inches. So let's recap, starting with the small scale I intended to very rarely use, and I still intend to very rarely use. I'd probably say that it's actually measured in centimeters, even though last time I said it was inches. Oops. Anyway, from smallest to largest, you got Ransack at 4.5 centimeters, Venom at 10.5 centimeters, Bombshell at 12 centimeters, Kickback at 12.7 centimeters, Chop Shop at 16.85 centimeters, Shrapnel at 17.85 centimeters, and finally Barrage at 18 centimeters. Not the biggest, but some of them, you know, around Megatron's height. Poor Megatron. Now onto the big scale, you'll notice there's a lot more space now, and you'll see why. So we start with Mixmaster at 15.7 meters. And then you got Hook at 19.1 meters, and yeah, okay, new record holder, but not for long, because then you got Scavenger at 22 meters, Brink Crusher at 23.35 meters, Scrapper at 26 meters, Long Haul at 44.36 meters, and finally Devastator at 45.59 meters. And at this point you realize that they just stuck onto Long Haul and didn't bother with the whole folding in half thing. Devastator to be even bigger. So that's it then, I guess it's time to go on to the next episode. Next time on Transformers Sizes, we take a look at the G1 Carbots of 1985, as well as the two deluxe vehicles, Roadbuster and Whirl. And we'll also be doing these guys. Oh yeah, the Dinobots. Not gonna look as impressive after the Constructicons. I gotta say, I don't think they're gonna be that good.